Shalom, praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Harakah Kudash. Double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone of well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Paya Allah. The title of this video will be determined upon upload. But what I want to delve into is dealing with the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, and how from the beginning they existed, but not in a sense as to where it came into existence during the time of Moses with the two tablets of stone, you know, the finger of the Most High writing the law, statute, and commandments down, and then being passed on to Moses, who orated them before the children of Israel before they entered into the covenant under the un, until they entered under the blood of the covenant, right, and basically acknowledged, all of the law, statutes, and commandments. So prior to that, it was an oral law. All right, the law was passed down by word. All right, by in, via speech. All right, and that's what I want to explore through the scriptures to show that the laws have always been there. All right, and they've been there from the beginning. They're presently here, and they're gonna be there in the time of the kingdom of heaven to come. This is something that is irrefutable, and it stands the test of time. That's why the Lord said in the book of Matthew, the gospel, how he come not to destroy the law, but to basically, um, damn man, I haven't said it in so long, it's escaping me. Um, he said he didn't come, no wise shall pass from the law till all be fulfilled. So basically, and that speaks to the prophecies as well within the law, statute, commandments. And the Lord came to fulfill the law. He walked in it. That's why he was a man without sin, worthy to be offered up as a sacrificial lamb. The scapegoat for the nation of Israel, as it tells you in Matthew, the first chapter. But with all of that being said, I want to pull out a couple scriptures. I got three, noted down, and I got some notes and everything around it. But Lord willing, you'll be edified. So I'll start with this. It's Genesis 2 and 7. And the Lord Yahweh formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. All right, so let's read it again. I'll break it down. It says, and the Lord Yahweh power formed man of the dust of the ground. Right. So the Heavenly Father formed man of the dust of the ground. And as you go into the book of Peter, I forget which Peter it is, the epistle of Peter, but it speaks to, I believe it's Second Peter, it speaks to the earth coming out of the water. All right, and that's the same manner in which man was formed. Man walked, it was brought forth from the waters, from the dust of the ground, and that's why you have the amount of, you know, uh, mineral matter and water within our bodies, these chains of darkness as they are, all right, being formed from the dust of the ground. And it's being a key point and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. All right. So the Heavenly Father, we understand, what um, the breath of life is. All right. As also is spoke of in the Book of Wisdom of Solomon as to being the breath of the power of the Most High. All right, Yahweh, which is wisdom. All right. That's the one thing that we have above all these other people out here. All right, this wisdom, and that's why even when um, you deal with the valley of the dry bones, it speaks to the sinews and the flesh and the skin forming, but ultimately it all comes to a whole. That breath of life, that understanding being poured upon them, because you have other camps out there that they have the identity, they have the sinews, the flesh, and the skin over them, so they identify as Israel, but they lack the breath of life, which is the total understanding of the law, statutes, and commandments, these scriptures, all right, the Bible in a whole. All right, so let's read again. And the Lord Yahweh formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. All right, so this speaks to the point of earlier, the chapter earlier, where you read in Genesis, the first chapter, as far as concerning Heavenly Father giving man the blessing, all right, which we understand the word blessed means to, if you're blessed, it means to have people bow before you, all right, the blessing that was given to man on the sixth day, all right, Adam, the Adamites, and ultimately Adam out of the Adamites was to have, was that wisdom so that he could subdue and have dominion over all the things upon the earth, all right, and that was the wisdom that allowed him to do that. All right. As everything being done decently and in order, as a Heavenly Father does, Him bringing the things of the heavens into the earth. Okay. So that really just shows you that the wisdom existed from the beginning. All right. And as we go to this, this leads me to this example. All right. Which I didn't even have to do that. All right. That really just shows you generations on that this is something that was well knew, well, established. All right. So it's the book of Genesis 7 and 1. I'm going to read down to verse 4. Well, that's highlighted. And it says, And the Lord Yahweh said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Right. Because when you deal with this time period, you had the generations onwards from, um, from, um, from, excuse me, from Adam and Eve. Right. And now, it's a spiral, a downward motion, all right, it's circling the drain to the point where the Heavenly Father spoke of bringing about the first death, all right, whereby he wanted to reset the world, seeing that man was so wicked, all right, and he even shortened their lifespan in in the chapter prior to this, right, showing you how wicked innately we are with this flesh, right, mind you, to the point of dealing with Adam, Eve, and the serpent, which I'm going to bring up as a point as we get into this. For thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of the beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. All right. Now, before I even speak to the difference of Well, I have to speak to the difference of the clean and the unclean. How do we know what is unclean and clean? Like, even if we just go here right now, we say clean beasts, all right? You ain't getting that until you go to the book of Leviticus, the fifth chapter. Now, if we deal with it in a chronological way of how the scriptures are presented, the book of Leviticus, even alone, goes back to who? Levi. Lawyer, all right. Lawa, ya, all right. Lawyer is a compound of those two words. Lawa meaning joined to, and ya meaning me. So when you put it together, lawyer, all right, it was joined unto me. And what joined the tribe of Levi unto the Heavenly Father? The law, statutes, and commandments, that they were sanctified to be priests after they withstood. I forget the account verbatim, but there was something they did as to whereby it withstood. They didn't fall victim to a plague in the camp or something of that nature. And then it was deemed that they should be the priests, all right, unto the Heavenly Father, that tribe, all right, denoted to different lineages as far as the things they would do. And we understood that, you had the Levites and then you had the priests. Certain families became priests, and then outside of that were Levites, but they still had a certain form of stature within this word. But the point being is that this is Noah's even before Abraham, all right, a few generations after Adam. So it speaks to, how do they know this information? They got it verbally, all right. That's how they got that information. Verbally, it was spoken unto them, and they understood it, all right. So it says, so let's go back to the point. And I'll read it again, verse Genesis 7:2. Of every clean beast thou shalt take of to thee by sevens, the male and his female. So why was the Lord speaking as far as taking a clean beast? All right, what we understand is when Noah came off the ark, that's when it was old. Genesis 9, it spoke about it opened up the diet of of man being open to consuming beasts. Because when you go into Genesis first chapter, it speaks about the herb of the field being our meat. All right, but this was a transition that was being made. So by when the clean beasts come off the ark and that statue, that commandment gets set in place, there's plenty of them, so they don't run through them. There's plenty of them to go around. And the beasts that are not clean by two, a male his female. But also, it's lucky I forgot to the point of sacrifice, all right? Because it's unclean beasts that you're not meant to sacrifice, and it's clean beasts that's meant for sacrifice. All right, so reading on it says, of fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and the female to keep seed alive upon the face of the earth. All right, so that was the statute set in place as far as that. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. All right. But the main point being, how did they know there was clean and unclean? All right. And this leads us back to the point I mentioned before about in the garden. All right. When you had the serpent beguiling Eve, and this is how the serpent, the Lord said he was more subtle than any man, you know, you know, than any of the people within the garden. And the reason why he was subtle is because he knew evil. All right. For you to know good, I mean, uh, for you to know evil, you have to know good. So he had a full comprehension of this, what's good and what's evil. Whereas those, all the other people within the garden, they lacked that understanding. They only knew of the good. And that's why you had that tree there of good, knowledge of good and evil. All right. And once they ate it, they understood what was going on. All right. I won't say so much that he knew it, but he had like he he was more subtle. He was more aware of certain things, whereas the others weren't. All right. But with that point being said, when Adam went off, he said he heard the voice of the Most High in the garden. All right. The voice of the Most High is the prophets. All right. The men of the Lord were back then the mouthpieces of the Heavenly Father speaking on his behalf. All right. And that's how when you go into Sirach, the 17th chapter, it speaks about ears heard his glorious voice. All right. And that's our people hearing the voice of the Heavenly Father. That's how we got the understanding of these scriptures. All right. And Adam heard his voice in the garden. And that's why it tells you in the book of Job 32 and 8, it says, but there is a spirit in man, all right, an inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. Okay. So that spirit in man, is given by the inspiration of the Almighty. That's what allows man to function on the basis they function. All right. That's why these things were new. All right. Because the Heavenly Father, through his divine inspiration, all right, the voice, I mean, sorry, not the voice of the, the spirit, the breath of life, all right, which is the inspiration. When you even break down the word inspire, it means in and spire or spirit, which is air, breath. So the Heavenly Father inspired with breathing on them, and then they were speaking through through their mouths the words of the Heavenly Father. All right, and this is how this information of clean and unclean was known. All right, so let me close out on this scripture. So it's the book of Second Thessalonians 2:15, which reads, therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which ye have been taught, whether by word or our epistle. So let me read that again. Therefore, brethren, stand fast. Wow, fasten your seatbelt. Like, stand fast. Hold on to this information. Hold the traditions, even that word there, traditions, right? Which I might actually have to look up. Um, so the word there for traditions,
Strong's G 3862. Paradosis. Paradosis.
paradosis, all right, which means giving up, giving over, the act of giving up, the surrender of cities, a giving over which is done by word of mouth or in writing, i.e., tradition by instruction, narrative, precept, etc. All right, objectively, that which is delivered, the substance of a teaching, right, of the body of precepts, especially ritual, which, in opinion of the later Jews, were orally delivered by Moses and orally transmitted in unbroken succession to subsequent generations, which precepts both illustrate and expanding the written law as they did were to be obeyed with equal reverence. So yeah, so this is, a tradition of oral instruction, done by word of mouth. So let me even just check what it says there in the NLT, New Living Translation. It says, with all these things in mind, dear brothers and sisters, stand firm and keep a strong grip on the teaching we passed on to you both in person or by letter. All right. So let's read it again. It says 2 Thessalonians 2:15. Therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which have been taught, whether by word or our epistle. So there you go. So it shows you the oral tradition was something that was done for the longest, and then it was brought into the words of the Heavenly Father, all right, by His will and prophetic way. So with that, I pray you're edified. To the next one. Say shalom, shalom.